2nd District of Caloocan City is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Buong puso ako naniniwala na malayong maayos ang 2026 General Appropriations Bill kaysa sa mga nakaraang noong 19th Congress na pinagmulan ng galit ng mga mamamayan. Maayos na! Bakit nagpalusot pa ng 250 billion na unprogrammed funds? Section 22, Article 7 of the 1987 Constitution, which mandates that the President must submit a budget of expenditures and sources of financing within 30 days of Congress regular session, and the GAA must be based on it. And program funds have no definite source of financing. Without a clear revenue basis, Congress cannot constitutionally authorize such appropriations. And program funds effectively delegate Congress' exclusive power of the purse to the executive branch. And program funds is lump sum in nature, lacking itemization. Article 6, Section 25, Line 6 of the Constitution clearly prohibits any law allowing the transfer of appropriation, much more one that grants the executive discretion to appropriate funds on its own. Congress cannot abdicate its constitutional duty by handling over blank checks disguised as unprogrammed funds. Unprogrammed funds only create illusions that projects might be funded through uncertain savings, paid new revenues, or speculative new loans. These conditions almost never happen. Unprogrammed funds is a convenient escape hatch, a political mirage that misleads agencies and the public. Kung may bagong revenue, kung may pagkakataon ng bagong mga utang, pwede naman magkaroon ng supplemental budget. From the 2023, 2024, and 2025 GAA, program funds were transferred into unprogrammed allocations, resulting in the funding of legitimate program projects, rechanneling it into pet projects of legislators, and ended out as ghost projects, substandard projects, and unnecessary expenditures. And program funds has been used not to serve the people, but to manipulate public funds. It's time to end this deception. Kung talagang para sa bayan ang budget, alisin na ang unprogrammed funds. Kongreso ang may kapangyarihan sa paggastos, huwag nating ipasa sa Executive Department ang kapangyarihan yan. Salamat po. I vote no.
Please, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to explain her vote is Representative Dada Kiram-Ismula of Party List Akbayan, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Dada Kiram is
Ligarda Leviste from the 1st District of Batangas.
the Honorable Leandro Antonino Ligarda Leviste from the 1st District of Batangas is recognized.
Madam Speaker, una po sa lahat, nais kong i-recognize ang Committee on Appropriations sa paglalaan ng 255 billion pesos mula sa DPWH patungo sa mga programa ng kalusugan, edukasyon, agrikultura at iba pang sektor. Ngunit, ang natitirang 624 billion pesos ay maaari pa ring pagmulan ng korupsyon. Dahil kung babanggitin ko ang pahayag ni dating DPWH Undersecretary Roberto Bernardo, almost 100% ng mga bidding sa DPWH sa buong bansa ay luto. Almost 100%. Pagkatapos ng lahat ng mga flood control hearings in aid of legislation, hindi natin dapat aprubahan ang parehong mga presyo sa mga proyekto ng DPWH. Kaya iminumungkahi kong ibaba ng 25% ang mga presyo ng DPWH upang mabawasan ang posibleng 150 billion pesos ng posibleng kickbacks. Mr. Speaker, I want to make this very clear. Ang DPWH ang nagtatakda ng mga presyo at sila rin ang nagsasagawa ng mga bidding. At kahit hindi kunin ng isang congressman ang kickback mula sa mga proyekto ng DPWH sa kanyang distrito, makukuha naman daw pa ng mga taga-DPWH ang kickback mula dito. Kaya itinutulak ko na ibaba ang presyo ng DPWH para wala nang makukuhang kickback ang DPWH. The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing, dear colleagues. I believe that our distinguished colleagues here are good men. That many of us here want to end kickbacks in DPWH, but assume this is impossible. I am making this manifestation in hopes that we can chip away at the perception of impossibility. Maaari nating wakasan ang kickbacks sa ilang distrito ng DPWH at balang araw sa buong DPWH. Distinguished colleagues, dagdag ko rin po dito na ang Region 4A ay halos 15% ng population at GDP ng buong bansa. Pero nakakakuha ng mahigit kumulang 10% lamang ng budget ng DPWH. Kaya dahil nandito po ako sa seksyon ng mga kinatawan ng Batangas, Cavite, Laguna, Quezon at Rizal, nakikiusap po ako na kung sa susunod na bersyon nitong panukalang budget ng 2026, may savings ang mga presyo ng DPWH, sana dagdagan naman ang share ng budget ng mga distrito ng Region 4A. Pangwakas, umaasa rin ako na hindi tutol ang mayorya na patuloy kong ipahayag ang aking pagtutol sa overpricing at mga kickbacks sa DPWH. Sana'y patuloy nating pahintulutan ang mga tinig sa Kongreso na manawagan ng tunay na pagbabago at pagwawakas ng kickback sa DPWH. To give credit to the Committee on Appropriations, the GAB was an improvement on the NEP. At umaasa po ako na ang GAA ay magiging improvement sa GAB. Maraming salamat po.
I vote no on the General Appropriations Bill.
We vote to affirm this budget, but with these reservations.
I vote yes, not out of complacency, but out of hope. Hope that this budget will not just sustain our government, but reform it.
Sa paggastos, huwag nating ipasa sa Executive Department ang kapangyarihan yan. Salamat po. I vote no.
Sana'y patuloy nating pahintulutan ang mga tinig sa Kongreso na manawagan ng tunay na pagbabago at pagwawakas ng kickback sa DPWH.
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues of the House of Representatives, I rise today to register my vote no on the third reading of the General Appropriations Bill. While this representation recognizes the necessity and urgency of passing a national budget, Congress should always commit to fiscal responsibility and institutional integrity. These compel me to oppose this measure based on the following critical grounds. First, the retention of unprogrammed appropriations amounting to 250 billion rounds counter to the growing demand for transparency and fiscal discipline. These funds, outside the regular budget and subject to broad discretion, have long fueled public distrust. Sa pagsisimula po ng Kongresong ito, sinabi po ng House leadership that the 2026 budget will be the most transparent budget, the most open budget. Pero parang hindi po natin tinupad ang pangakong ito. Akala po natin totoong magbabago na. Akala po natin totoong magre-reforma na. Pero itinago lang pala ang mga questionable pondo under the guise of unprogrammed appropriations. For a new member of this chamber, this is not just a line item. It is a test of whether we will continue old habits or chart a more accountable path. Second, the reduction of the Office of the Vice President's budget to 733.2 million, reverting to its 2025 level, disregards the real and tangible work done on the ground. As someone taking my first stand on the national budget, I believe that public service should be funded based on impact, not politics. To ignore performance because of political alignments weakens institutions that we should be strengthening. Third, the huge allocation of 1.4 billion to the Presidential Communications Office for ASEAN to 2026 reflects misplaced priorities. While hosting international events has its place, it should not eclipse the basic needs of our citizens. As a new legislator, I am expected to help build a future budget culture that puts substance over show. At bilang panghuli, the budget process continues with marginalization of regular appropriations committee members. Madam Speaker, may I request for a 1-minute extension?
You may proceed.
Ako po ay miyembro ng Appropriations Committee. 134 po kami na miyembro nito. Ngunit, hindi ko po naramdaman masyado ang aking partisipasyon sa committee na yon. Dahil mangilan-ngilan lamang ang may kapangyarihan na mag-approve o mag-deny ng mga amendments. Halos 14 lang sila na miyembro ng Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee o yung BARC. Sila lamang ang nakapangyayari at nasusunod sa budget amendments. The creation of the subcommittee effectively concentrated power to approve or deny amendments to a few members, marginalizing the broader membership of the committee, and how much more, the public that was promised transparency over the process. The reasonable addition of funding for relevant programs were not given credence, and yet glaringly unexplained items were accommodated in the proposed budget. Parang napagod lang si Kong Eli Fernando at si Kong Tino sa mga budget debates, pero wala rin nangyari sa kanilang manghahe. This undermines the collegiality that should be a guidepost for the committee and stifles the value of the open democratic debate over the allocation of public funds. I'm winding up, Madam. Let the record reflect that my opposition is a stand for fiscal responsibility, transparency, and the fundamental integrity of our legislative process. For these reasons, a deficit in procedural transparency, the proliferation of ambiguous and program funds, and the effective marginalization of regular legislators in the deliberative process, I vote no on the General Appropriations Bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Elijah R. San Fernando from the Kamanggagawa Party List is recognized.
Madam Speaker, mga kasama, this representation registers a vote of yes, but with principled reservations. By voting yes, we affirm the importance of continuity of essential government services. If we fail to pass the GAB on time, then we face the danger of having a reenacted budget. A reenacted budget would serve no one, Madam Speaker. The 2025 General Appropriations Act is dubbed to be among the most corrupt and distorted budgets in recent history. To be bound again by its provisions would be a grave disservice to the Filipino people. Napakaraming buhay ng mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino po ang nakasalalay sa pagpasa ng budget. Ang mga pinapaaral ng government scholarships, ang mga beneficiary ng livelihood and social welfare programs, ang ating mga magsasaka. We are voting yes so that our government workers, many of whom are struggling JO and COS workers, can continue receiving their hard-earned compensation. These people who have less in life are foremost in our consideration. Sa hirap po ng panahon ngayon, we cannot delay what is due to them. The budget is not perfect, but it is the product of deliberation and scrutiny which this representation has duly participated in. We have witnessed the measures that the House has taken, however limited, to correct the mistakes of the past, especially those in the wake of the flood control scandal. We have sought to reallocate funds from bloated flood control projects towards sectors that truly uplift lives, education, healthcare, and social welfare. On that note, I would like to thank our distinguished colleagues for the hard work they have put in to make this budget possible. These adjustments, while not perfect, represent a move toward fairness and rationality in public spending. they are a sign that this chamber continues to strive to put the people first. It is in the spirit of transparency and accountability, which this administration has committed to, that we also raise our serious concerns and reservations. At the outset, we express our grave concern over the timing and haste of this budget's deliberation. While we understand the constraints the leadership faces, we nonetheless assert that a genuine process requires meticulous consideration and deliberate pacing. This is not a minor procedural concern. We are duty-bound by the Constitution to ensure that every peso is allocated wisely, ethically, and in genuine service of the Filipino people. We cannot perform that duty when we are scrambling and hurrying. As representatives of the people, our mandate is to scrutinize, not rubber stamp. This requires ample room for meaningful debate. Deliberations on key amendments, including those reviewed by the Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee, must be made more robust than they are now.
Please wrap up.
We must widen participation beyond these halls to the people. Civil society groups perform a crucial role of keeping us in check and filling in where there are gaps in our knowledge, experience, or vision. Their participation is key to ground our budget in the everyday realities of our people. And such participation must be meaningful, not tokenistic. This means more than invitations to hearings. It means access to budget documents, the right to speak and be heard in deliberations, and the actual integration of their inputs into the budget framework. Dapat ramdam ng mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino na sila ay napakikinggan at tunay na kasali sa proseso, sa resulta at sa paggamit ng pondo ng bayan. I'm wrapping up, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are hoping that this House pushes for the decreased reliance on discretionary spending and on programmed appropriations, such as those found in the 2026 budget. Pagsumikapan ho natin na tuluyang mawala ang mga pork barrel type allocations. These funds are prone to corruption and contribute to the weakening trust of people in the government institutions. Instead of reinforcing social services, these programs risk entrenching dependency and selective distribution of public aid. The persistence of unprogrammed appropriations also remains an urgent concern. These funds, which depend on uncertain financing sources, create vast opportunities for discretion and abuse. They undermine the principle of accountability, weaken congressional control, and blur the line between fiscal management and political accommodation. While deliberating in these halls, a danger we could fall into is the reduction of public funds into abstract numbers. Kung kaharap mo ay papel lamang, napakadali pong imungkahi na magdagdag o magbawas ng 100 milyong piso sa mga budget ng ahensya ng gobyerno. Pero hindi ito numero lang. These figures reflect actual lives, families, and jobs. And so the challenge to us representatives of the people is to step out and witness the genuine implications that these changes make in the people's lives. Tayo po ay lumabas sa ating mga opisina at magmasid. We hope that the concerns we have raised over the deliberation cycle, which are born out of consultation and study, resonate among our colleagues. Madam Speaker, in this budget cycle, we have learned invaluable lessons about haste, about opacity, and about the need for courage in fiscal scrutiny. And from this learning, this representation, Madam Speaker, vows to be fiercer, bolder, and more unapologetic in the months and years ahead. We will continue to fiscalize, to question, and to demand transparency and justice in every peso appropriated and spent. Ang representasyong ito po ay tumitindig para sa mas mapanuring Kongreso at para sa budget na tunay na magsisilbi sa mga manggagawa at ordinaryong Pilipino. And with all this said, we vote to affirm this budget but with these reservations. Maraming salamat po, Madam Speaker, at mga kasama sa Kongreso.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, may we recognize Representative Jesus Manuel Bong Suntay from the 4th District of Quezon City.
The Honorable Jesus Manuel Bong Suntay from the 4th District of Quezon City is recognized.
Madam Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I voted yes to the passage of House Bill number 4058 because I firmly believe that the government must continue to function and deliver for our people. Sa panahong marami ang naghihirap, nagkakasakit, walang trabaho at patuloy na tumataas ang presyo ng bilihin, ang huling dapat mangyari ay ang paghinto ng serbisyo ng pamahalaan. Kaya po sa kabila ng aking mga agam-agam, I support the passage of this budget to keep the machinery of government running, to ensure that classrooms stay open, hospitals remain operational, and essential aid continue to reach those who need it the most. Ngunit hayaan niyo po na akong maging malinaw. Ang aking boto ay may mabigat na reservation, lalo na sa 243.22 billion na unprogrammed appropriations. Nakita na natin sa mga nakaraang taon kung paano nagagamit ang ganitong pondo sa paraang hindi malinaw at walang sapat na pananagutan. Funds that should be meant for people's welfare risk being tools for discretion, politics, and manipulation. I raised my opposition to this allocation not out of partisanship, but out of principles. Because every peso of public money must be traceable, transparent, and accountable to the Filipino people. Madam Speaker, my vote today is an appeal for better governance, for a budget process that truly reflects the values of honesty, fairness, and service. Ang budget po ay hindi lamang listahan ng gastusin. Ito ay salamin ng ating malasakit sa mamamayan. It is a declaration of how seriously we take our responsibility to uplift the lives, strengthen institutions, and restore the people's faith in government. I vote yes because I believe the Filipino people deserve a working government, one that does not stop, even amidst our disagreements, but continue to serve with integrity. Ngunit kasabay ng aking pagsuporta, nananawagan tayo sa ating mga kapwa lingkod bayan. Gamitin natin ang pondong ito ng may malasakit, may pananagutan, at may tunay na hangarin na pagandahin ang buhay ng bawat Pilipino. I vote yes, not out of complacency, but out of hope. Hope that this budget will not just sustain our government, but reform it, strengthen it, and make it truly responsive to the needs of the people we swore to serve. Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader from the